Dan Colgan, let him have it. How's everybody doing tonight? Anybody here celebrating a birthday, anniversary, maybe family left after a weekend here? Anybody? All right. So anyway, while you're celebrating during the holiday season and you watch Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and you're wondering, what did happen to Hermie? Did he become a dentist? Here you go. All right. So I get that. I also get Barney Rubble a lot. I get Barney Rubble. Philip Seymour Hoffman, so that was fun when he went away. Yeah, exactly. And Chris Farley. So I'm either animated or dead. So I don't really know what that says about me as a person. So I'm the youngest of 10 in an Irish Catholic family. Parents were great. They had to have a lot of rules for 10 of us, just to make sure things would run smoothly. So, when the last light went on in the street, we had to be inside. We had a list, so whoever the last one in had to lock the door and turn the light out. So when my mom's eulogy was happening, my brother was telling a bunch of the list there, and this girl turns around that's a friend of his daughter, and she's like, I would hate to live in that house. And the mom's like, why didn't I think of some of these rules, to help me out here? So I came out to my parents on Mother's Day weekend. The three of us were having pizza on a Saturday night. I'm like, hey, guess what? Let me tell you something. Because I figured since I was moving in 2 months, it was safe finally to tell them that I was gay so I didn't get kicked out. So my mom's like, well, you're not a radical, are you? And I'm like, I don't know what that means. And so she's like, oh, okay, that's fine. So it's like, all right. I said, well, Dad, what do you think? He says, oh, we love you. You're our son. I'm like, all right, cool. That's great. That's wonderful. So one of their rules, though, was if they ever wanted to leave the marriage, whoever decided to leave had to take the 10 kids. So it was a win-win for whoever finally was going to be free of the whole situation. But no, they loved each other really a lot. So people would ask my dad, why don't you have any animals? He says, I have 10 kids. I don't need any animals. So I didn't grow up with animals. But I now live with 3 dogs and 2 birds. Exactly, yeah. And so 2 of them are purebreds. One is blind in one eye. It's named Spinner, and exactly does that. Spins around looking for its tail. And I thought, dogs had a good sense of smell, so I've lived there for 3 months. Barks like the Dickens every time I come into the house. I'm like, okay, it's me. No, it's me, Spinner, and just keeps spinning around. So I'm like, all right. So there's another dog that I know, Elvis, who is like my nephew dog or whatever, because I'm good friends with the mother of him. And so he's always jumping up, he's licking me, and I'm like, please, not the mouth, because I don't want the dog's tongue in my mouth. And so Spinner tried to jump up on my lap, so I thought, well, Elvis is pretty secure with it. Not a half-blind dog you should have jump on. So the barking's increased as I've come to live there. So there's another one that's more like a Scooby-Doo dog. It's a Pharaoh hound. And it loves chicken, and I like to eat chicken. But apparently it thinks that there's chicken here. And I'm like, no chicken there, because actually I'm a pure gay, because I was a C-section. And so I've never been in that area. So since Cece is a female dog, still, I'm like, no chicken there. So I'm scared if it smells like chicken too. So I'm still wondering about that one. So it's been really interesting living with all these animals and dogs. But I hear about these purebred shows. And I'm like, okay, as a gay man, sometimes I'm like, hey, bitch, how you doing? What's going on? They literally have categories for bitches at the purebred thing. And so what happens also is if you're a helper at a purebred show, like a Westminster Abbey, you're called a bucket bitch, because you're the one that has to do all the chores or help out and different things like that. So I'm learning a whole new dictionary and vocabulary for bitch, so I'm excited for that when I go out to the clubs. So it's gonna make it a fun time. So one of the things is my father has turned 85, so he's a little bit hard of hearing. So it's been an interesting time trying to talk to him on the phone, because I always forget that when you talk outside of New York, there's a lot of other noise. So I'm like, hey, Dad, I love you. What? I can't hear you. I'm like, I love you. I can't hear you, Dan. I can't hear you. I'm like, okay, that's fine. We'll love you. I'll see you next week. Then I'll talk to you in person. Well, we got him a new phone, so he can hear clear as a bell now, because it's really loud. I was there when they were testing it out for him. So I own a company that's a scavenger hunt team building company called Rock Paper Team. And so I went and I got a job in Bangkok. I'm gonna go to Bangkok for a job. I'm really excited by that. So I'm like, hey, Dad, guess what? This is the first time I'm talking to him on the phone when he can hear something. I said, I'm going to Bangkok to run a scavenger hunt. He's like, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. So I'm like, great, I'm glad this phone really works now for you. So no, he's very supportive on everything. Even my family, my one brother, I went to my nephew's wedding, And my sister's like, oh, I hope you were able to get off. I said, well, I own the company, so, I can take time off. My brother's like, well, he has no clients. I'm like, because I just started the company a year ago. I'm like, no, I've had some pretty good clients. So that's the family support sometimes. That's why my friends are my family. Anyway, no, so that's just one of the fun things. So living in Queens now, I used to live in Times Square, and I live in Queens, so riding on the bus can be interesting. So when it gets to be a heated discussion, like a guy saying, I'm not your slave, don't look at me like that, you mother effing going off on lines, Russian racist bitch, that's what he was saying to her. I'm thinking her line was, she's like, sir, and he's like, no, don't talk to me, you going through the litany. She's like, sir, I have a lazy eye. Thank you very much. No, you'll get that in a little bit. Have a great one, thank you.
Let him have it, let him have it, let him have it. Dan Colgan, let him have it. I loved it.